Hi and welcome to Polly Puts the Colour On. In this video I'm going to be taking part in the Alice in Wonderland 2025 tag. So a big thank you to Meg from Meg's Colouring Corner for tagging me. Anybody that I mention I will obviously link down in the description below. And obviously a big thank you to the tag hosts of Finding Joy in Colour, Julianne Annette Art and Crafting Mama Bear 87. Again, I'll add them in the description below. Now, obviously, I always start my videos saying, welcome to Polly Puts the Colour On, and I kind of take it for granted that you're all going to work out that my name's Polly. I mean, strictly speaking, it isn't, but that is what everybody calls me. Much prefer Polly to my actual given name, and all the people closest to me call me Polly, and obviously I class you as friends, and that's why you get to call me Polly as well. So I'm going to tag 3 channels. Apologies if the people I'm tagging have already been tagged or don't want to take part. Obviously feel free, to take part or not, but the channels that I'd like to tag are Kate's Colouring Pages, Alison's Colouring and Creativity, and Zoophira Art. Again, I'll obviously link them down below. Please go and check out their channels because they're all absolutely wonderful. So as you can see, I have coloured an Alice in Wonderland page. Did this one in the summer and had a lot of fun doing this one. It was great fun. Had a quick look through my books and I can't really see one that's going to be a super obvious one, so you'll have to bear with me. I've gone for Cat Moments by Hikaru Kotz, and I've gone for this one because my thinking is, in Alice in Wonderland obviously they have the tea party and there's obviously the Cheshire Cat, so I'm thinking we're going to make at least one of the cats pink, and at least they're having a bit of a tea party. I'd say maybe I could change that as well, maybe do a happy unbirthday, but we'll see. So I'm going to colour just a little bit while I'm answering the questions, but I'll probably finish the rest of the page off camera because I'm not always the best at trying to talk and colour at the same time. So let me just pick a colour to get started with. So I might go for a red for what I'm guessing are the little strawberries on the cakes. So I'm going to be using my Honolulu B Ohuhu markers, although mine are not the newest sets, so my codes might not work. I don't imagine anybody's going to be following along, but just in case you're looking and a bit confused by the codes. So question 1 is, would you follow the rabbit down the rabbit hole like Alice did? And I don't know. I think it might depend on the day, what the hole looked like, I don't know. Possibly not. Not necessarily the most adventurous person, so possibly not on that one. But who knows? If I thought the rabbit needed help, I probably would follow it. Possibly. I'm thinking I probably wouldn't. That's not really a very definitive answer, but that's being honest. Question 2 is, what would your number 1 rule be if you were Queen of Wonderland? So I think obviously it's a bit of a fun, quirky, different, magical kind of place. Obviously lots of the characters are lovely, but then obviously you've got the Queen of Hearts and some bits that maybe aren't quite so great. So I do wonder whether my rule might be that you just need to be a little bit kinder and a bit more thoughtful, thinking on how other people are feeling, what kind of day they've had. Not saying that you've got to be kind to be a walkover, but just putting yourself in other people's shoes and taking into account what they've got going on. I think that would be my rule, because I think that would make this world a much better place, and might make Wonderland a bit nicer too, although it's obviously a lovely place already. Question 3 is, what other holidays do you think that Wonderland would celebrate besides the unbirthdays? I don't know. After listening to Meg's Colouring Corner's answers, I do agree. I could very much see that they would celebrate Halloween. I think they definitely would. I think that seems like very much their kind of cup of tea, so to speak. Getting dressed up and all that kind of thing. do you think that they would celebrate Halloween? I do wonder whether possibly Valentine's Day as well, whether the Queen of Hearts would, you know, kind of monopolise that and make it into, you know, a holiday all about her, a celebration all about her. You know, Queen of Hearts, Valentine's being to do with hearts. Don't know. That's, you know, that's my thinking there. I don't think they would necessarily celebrate Christmas or Easter, or really any other kind of holidays. I think perhaps Halloween and Valentine's Day, I think possibly might be what they would go for. So I've just been trying to talk and look for a pen at the same time, which, you know, never goes well. So yes, I think the holidays they'd celebrate is probably Halloween and Valentine's Day. Question 4. Who would you want to spend your time with most in Wonderland? Don't know on that one. I mean, I do think the little mouse in the teapot is ever so cute. So possibly the little mouse. I mean, could be a possibility. I think I'm going to bring some green up here as well to balance this out. Yeah, I think maybe the little mouse. I don't know what his name is, but the little mouse in the teapot. He's kind of a cute little guy. Maybe we might to find out a little bit more about him. And obviously, we've got the Cheshire Cat. Yeah, I think the little mouse, maybe the white rabbit as well. Question 5. This is a very, very easy one for me to answer. Do you love to sing? And would you join the choir of Singing Flowers in Wonderland and try and get a solo part? No to both of those. I mean, I do quite like singing, but only when I'm in my car all by myself, when absolutely nobody can hear me, because I can't sing. Tone deaf, I think you could say for me. Quite enjoy singing along in the car, top of my lungs, having a whale of a time, but I am definitely not very musical. So yeah, definitely wouldn't want to try and join the choir, let alone get a solo part. Question 6. Would you want to find your way out, or would you want to stay? I think if I ended up there, I'd obviously stay for a little bit, have a bit of an explore, but I definitely want to get back home. I think it'd be a fun place to be for a little while. But then I think after that, it's probably just going to end up being a bit of a strange place to be for any length of time. So I don't think I would want to stay there. I think I would definitely want to get back home where, you know what's going on. So question 7. Who would your best friend be in Wonderland? I don't know. I mean, I'd say Alice, but I don't know. Maybe the White Rabbit. To be honest, I can't remember too many of the other characters. I know when I was listening to Meg's Colouring Corners video earlier, and she was chatting about the different characters, I went, oh yeah, there is that one. Oh yeah, there is that one. But I don't know. I don't really remember any of them that well to say which I would want my best friend to be. So I'm going to go for Alice, if only because I can remember the most about her. So I think that might be a good reason to pick her. I'm going to go for a pale colour. I don't want the cup and the plate to be plain, so I'm going to pick kind of a light colour, I think, for them. Try that pale lilac. I don't know whether that'll turn out well, but we'll go for it. I think this will be a very bright page, but I think we can get away with it. So yeah, that was question 7. Who would your best friend be? I'm going to go for Alice, just because, yeah, I can't remember too much about a lot of the other characters. So question 8, which movie do you prefer, animated or the live action one? Now, I think I've watched the live action one. I'm pretty certain I have, but I can't remember too much about it, which tells me the fact that I haven't watched the animated one for, no idea, an awfully long time. I think I was probably a child last time I watched it, and I'm 40 now. The fact that I can remember more about the animated one that I've watched, you know, a lot longer ago than the live action one, I think that tells me that I obviously prefer the original kind of animated Disney version rather than the newer live action version. So I shall go for the animated version because, yeah, I can remember more about it. So I'm thinking that means that that one to me is better. Question 9. If you could continue to return to Wonderland and reality whenever you wanted, would you continue to visit? I think I probably would. Assuming that when I was there, I had a nice time and I quite enjoyed myself, then I think I probably would want to go back so that I could visit, you know, especially if I'd made some new friends there, then I probably would want to pop back and say hello. So yeah, I think I probably would pop back now and again to say hi. If you fancied a change, things are getting a bit boring, then yeah, I think it might be a fun place to stay. You know, if you know that you could get back, then yeah, especially if you could take people with you to visit. Now I'm thinking, I know there's only one Cheshire Cat. I'm thinking I'm going to make them both pink because, you know, I suppose there could be two Cheshire Cats, couldn't there? Just because we only see one. Or at least I think we only see one Cheshire Cat, don't we? And then I shall make them both pink to change this into a slightly Alice in Wonderland themed page. So question 10. What is your favourite treat or snack to go with tea or coffee? Oh, I think I need a slightly deeper pink actually. Let's get a deeper pink before I carry on. I'll go for pastel rose. Bear with me while I find it. It's always the case, isn't it? When you're looking for a particular colour, it takes ages to find, doesn't it? What is your favourite treat or snack to go with tea or coffee? Now, I do drink both tea and coffee. Obviously, I'm from the UK. We very much run on tea. I do drink a lot more tea than I do coffee. I'm not quite sure if these stripes are going to turn out okay, but we'll see. What was I saying? I do drink a lot more tea than I do coffee. But I do quite like a coffee. But first thing in the morning, what I always have is tea. Always have a cup of tea in an evening. And then, yeah, I'll sometimes have coffee in the day. I have to be more in the mood for a cup of coffee than I do tea. If somebody asks me, do you want a cup of tea? I would pretty much always say yes. If somebody asks, do you want a cup of coffee? There's a chance I might say no, if that makes sense. Like I've got to be in the mood to fancy one. So my favourite treat or snack to have with it? I don't know, because quite often I do just have tea or coffee and I don't necessarily have anything with it. But if we're thinking like biscuits, because that's something that we have quite often here in the UK, if we're having a cup of tea, we might have dunk a biscuit in, and that isn't a cookie. A biscuit in the UK is very different than a cookie. I do quite like a bourbon biscuit and a custard cream, and then wouldn't necessarily have these with a cup of tea, but I can very much recommend, if you're in the UK, going to Marks and Spencer's and getting the chocolate covered custard creams. They are quite expensive, but oh my gosh, they are amazing. There's so much chocolate on them, and if you pop them in the fridge, yeah, chef's kiss. So yeah, I wouldn't have those with a cup of tea necessarily. I'd say those are top tier biscuits. So yeah, I don't necessarily always have a snack with tea or coffee. But yeah, I do drink quite a lot, especially of tea. I've literally just had a cup of tea before I've come on doing this. completely struck on how the stripes have turned out, but I think it gives you the idea of the Cheshire Cat, doesn't it? It's not too bad, I don't think. So yeah, favourite treat or snack, probably biscuits, I would say. Yeah, or Biscoff biscuits as well. They're always very tasty. And then if you could, would you want to grow and shrink whenever you wanted? Now, definitely a big fat yes to that. I wouldn't necessarily do the shrinking part, but the growing part would be quite useful because I am not particularly tall. I'm only 5 foot tall. So sometimes it is a little bit frustrating. I want to reach things. Actually went out shopping early with my husband and needed some storage boxes for work at school. And I knew that they would be up on the top shelves in the shop. So I was like, right, you need to come with me. It's like, oh, do I have to? I was like, yes, because I can't reach them and I'll have to get somebody in the shop. And, you know, it's a whole thing. I was like, you can just reach them down for me so I can have a look. And he's like, okay, he doesn't mind. He's over 6 foot tall, so it's really easy for him. Obviously not quite so much for me. So yes, if I could grow whenever I wanted, that would be very useful. And I can just imagine the look on the children's faces at school if they could see me growing and shrinking. They would probably think that was hilarious. I'd probably have to make sure I didn't do it when they could see me, and then do it in secret if I needed to get something down from high up in school or, you know, something. So yeah, I think I definitely would want to grow and shrink. Not necessarily the shrinking, other than getting back to my height. I certainly wouldn't want to be any smaller than 5 foot. That is definitely short enough for my liking. But I can definitely see the appeal of being able to grow a little bit, because yes, that would be quite useful. So that is the last question. So again, a big thank you to Meg at Meg's Colouring Corner for tagging me. And then a big thank you to the tag hosts of Find Enjoying Colour, Julianne, Annette Art, and obviously Crafting Mama Bear 87 for coming up with this wonderful tag. There's so many tags going around at the minute. It's just so much fun. So I was quite excited when I saw I'd been tagged again. I was like, oh, what's this tag? You know, it's something else new, a bit different. So yeah, it's lovely that everybody's coming up with all of these different things that we can take part in. So yeah, I want to just repeat who I'm tagging. So that's Kate from Kate's Colouring Pages, Alison at Alison's Colouring and Creativity, and then Vera over at Zufira Art. So please check out their channels if you haven't already, because even if they don't do this tag, which obviously is no problem at all if they don't, please go and check out their channels, because they're all just such wonderful people and they do some lovely videos on their channels that you definitely go and show them some love and support, because I'm sure they would appreciate you popping by and saying hi. So I might just carry on randomly chatting while I finish off this page, because I'm pretty close to being done, to be fair, aren't I? So just pick a colour for the little candle that's lit, and might use that on the writing on the card as well, just to try and balance the colours across the page a little bit. I'm kind of liking how it's turning out. It's subtly kind of Alice in Wonderland themed, isn't it? I'm going to have a look. I have got a fine liner. Here we go. So I'm going to try and add on. There we are. I'll just have to let it dry before I colour it in. I might colour it in a different colour so it stands out, so then it's a happy unbirthday. Just to add to the theming there a little bit. And I might do the cake. Ooh, I don't know what colour to do the cake. This is a bit like if you ever catch my live streams, you'll hear me doing a lot of umming and ahhing, going, what should I do here? I think it's always interesting hearing people's thought processes. So I'm thinking I might try and bring a bit of blue in just to balance out this kind of bluey purple there. I don't want anything too bright on the cake. I mean, kind of brightish, but not like super bright, because I think it might look a bit weird if it's too bright. So I'll go for this pale blue, I think, for the cake icing. Just thinking if I bring a bit of blue in, because that's kind of the first colour that springs to my mind when I think of Alice in Wonderland. See, with her blue dress. And I might add blue edging on here rather than white. Mainly because I'm thinking I might leave the tablecloth white. Possibly. Might change my mind on that in a minute. But yeah, obviously, if you have a channel or, you know, you've got Instagram, I'm sure that the tag host would love you to take part. Obviously, just, you know, tag them, give them credit, but it'd be lovely for as many people as possible to take part. And then obviously you could tag some more people. So yeah, even if you've not been tagged, obviously take part anyway. You know, if you feel like you want to, don't just wait and see if you've been tagged. There we go. Right. Trying to decide. Yeah, I might keep a white tablecloth. So I might just add a bit of shading with this grey underneath the items on the tablecloth, I think. Because I think that'll work out hopefully quite nice. Add a bit of depth to it, but it'll mean I haven't got to colour the whole tablecloth. It's a very big area to colour, and quite frankly, I'm not in the mood for it. I'm kind of quite happy with how it's going, and it's just such a big area. If I pick the colour and it's not quite, you know, not quite right, I'm going to end up being really disappointed with how the page turns out. So I'm going to play it safe. There we go, just add a bit of shading. That looks quite nice, doesn't it? Right, so just need a bit of a colour for the background. So I might go for a bit of a weird colour for the background. And I might regret it, but we'll see. I'm going to go for the pale lemon yellow, just because I'm hoping that might give a nice little pop of colour without being too bright, but then it'll hopefully help because we've got those bits of green, which in the minute I think look a little bit, don't know, odd. I'm hoping, because this is kind of a slightly greeny yellow, I'm hoping it'll kind of pull the page together a bit. Yeah, I don't think that's looking too bad. I thought if I start there, it'd be easy to change it if I don't like it. But actually, I think it's going to do what I'm wanting. So yeah, I don't think I'm going to colour the tablecloth. That's the case sometimes with the cute and cozy pages. I like trying to keep them nice and simple anyway, and not worrying about adding too much in the way of patterning, but equally, when it's a massive area, it's just a bit daunting of trying to colour such a big bit without getting streaks in. So yeah, I think I'll colour the background, leave the tablecloth pale, but I'll do like I normally do, because the rest of the page will be dry. I shall go in and add a little bit of shading using the same coloured pen, just going back over, which is a tip that I got from Colouring Bumblebee. I think she did a video, it was a few months ago now, perhaps even early on in the year, where she showed colouring a page, and it was just basically waiting till it's dry, going back in with the same colour and just using it to add a bit of simple shading. So obviously if you're going back over with the same colour, it will add a subtle bit of a shadow. So now I know all of this green bit's dry. Obviously I can go in, just do a quick little bit, and it just adds a bit of something to it and means it doesn't end up looking too flat. Certainly doesn't take long at all, but it is a great tip that I got from Jess over at Colouring Bumblebee, because yeah, it's dead easy. If you're a bit like me and you want to keep your cute and cozy pages nice and simple, there's just such an easy way of adding a bit in without it taking long at all. So yeah, I'll just work my way back through all the colours. So we've got the red now. So yeah, if you enjoy me kind of chatting while I'm colouring cute and cosy pages on a Monday evening, I usually live stream on my channel. Quite often I do a cute and cosy page, not always, but quite often this is the sort of page that I'll colour. So it's quite nice, I can kind of start and finish it all on one live stream. So it's kind of nice to start and finish it with everybody. But sometimes I do mix it up and do something as a bit of a longer project. It just kind of depends on what I've got going on. And I normally ask at the end of one live stream, right, I'm thinking about these pages for next week, what do you think? And then people get to decide for me from the options I give them. Right, here we go, nearly done. On there. So yeah, you can see it really doesn't take long at all, and it just helps to really pull the page together. So I think the last bit I really need to do is this and the wood bit. But yeah, there's not too much left to do here now. That's that colour done. So let's find the one I used for the wood. Here we go, and then that'll be about the last bit that I'll probably add anything to, and then it'll just be the white gel pen. Here we go, for just a few finishing touches. So yeah, thank you for obviously joining me for this video. Looking forward to catching up. There's been so many videos lately. I have YouTube Premium, so I've got them like all downloaded. Oh my gosh, I've got a lot of, I think I've got like 100 videos to try and catch up on at the minute. Between, all the different people that I follow, and obviously there's all the tag videos, and yeah, lots of lovely content out there at the minute for everybody to enjoy. So thank you for spending some of your precious time with me today. Obviously, if you haven't already subscribed, please click that subscribe button, because it does make a big difference to my channel. And obviously, if you watch other smaller channels and you're not subscribed to them, please subscribe, to kind of everybody. If it's somebody that you watch regularly, please subscribe. It does make a huge difference to channels, helping to get our videos seen by more people. We can make some more friends on this lovely place that is YouTube. So there we go. I'm going to call that page done. So subtly Alice in Wonderland themed, with it being a bit of a tea party. Happy unbirthday. I don't think that's turned out too badly. And obviously kind of Cheshire Cat inspired cats there. I think it's turned out quite cute. I've just realised part of the pages ended up off camera, but there we go. Let's shuffle you up a little bit. So thank you so much for joining me today. Obviously take care. Obviously please click that like and subscribe button if you haven't already, and I'll hopefully catch you in the next one.